Hey Juninho, how are you? First of all, I'd like to thank you for joining us, for taking some of your time to talk with us here at Lance. It's a pleasure to be talking with you. We're going to talk about Mexico, your new routine at Pumas. We'll talk about Flamengo and also a bit about the World Cup. But before anything else, I wanted to thank you for accepting our invitation, my friend.
Man, good afternoon. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm really happy and let's do this.
And Juninho, I wanted to start this interview by talking about this phase of your career. You left Flamengo at the beginning of this year and transferred to Pumas in Mexico, right? And I wanted to understand how this opportunity came about, how you saw this chance to go play in Mexican football, a league you hadn't played in before. I wanted to understand a little bit about what that whole process was like for you.
Man, I got the invitation from the coach and I thought his project was very ambitious because it's a club that had been struggling to become champions or to fight for something big in their country. And I think that was one of the reasons I was able to come here. It was the opportunity to make more history in my life as well, because I like that. I like challenges, and I believe it was really more for the challenge itself, for the opportunity to show what I can do to help the club become great again. Like to win again, to be able to win a title, to fight for a title, which is something that hasn't happened for Pumas in a long time. It just wasn't happening anymore. It's a club with a lot of fans, but it was struggling a bit with that. I think it was this project that made me want to come here.
And man, I also wanted to understand how your adaptation is going, because you're in a country that speaks a different language from ours, that also has a cuisine very different from ours. I wanted to understand how your routine has been during these first months in Mexico.
Man, at first it was a bit complicated for them to understand me, because it's easier for us to understand them than for them to understand us. And I also struggled a bit because the altitude here, so I'm not used to that yet. I think that's what's making things a bit tough for me. But when it comes to food, the cuisine, those things, I'm living in a really good place, that has everything, where you can do everything on foot. So when it comes to food, I don't think I'm struggling that much. Obviously, there's a bit of a spicy side to their food here, but that's something we can handle. We're used to it.
Juninho, you mentioned the altitude. Do you know roughly how high it is there?
Man, I can't tell you for sure, but you can definitely feel it a bit.
Okay. At least playing soccer and being in shape makes things go a bit smoother, right? It would be worse for me since I weigh 99 kilos, right? I would really struggle with the altitude. And Juninho.
Even us, the skinny ones, we suffer too.
And Juninho, speaking of your current form as well, right? You have 17 matches for Pumas since you arrived, right? You've already scored 7 goals. An interesting fact is that you've already scored more goals in this short period with Pumas than you did with Flamengo last year. With Flamengo, last year, today you have more minutes, right? You're used more as a regular starter, right? I wanted to understand, did you already expect to have such a positive impact in such a short time? You're saying that you have to adapt to the language, right? You have to adapt to the altitude, which is something Brazilians always struggle with, and I wanted to understand, did you already expect to have such a positive impact at the start of your journey with Pumas?
Man, first of all, I trust myself. I believe in my work. And obviously, if I have the chance to show my work, for sure, with time, I'll deliver results. And that's what you said. I'm getting the minutes I need. Obviously, I'm not at 100% yet. Because when we were at the Club World Cup, I was just training. I spent almost a month just training there. And then we had a break, 15 days. I had 15 days off while they were training here, so I didn't do the preseason with them. So I believe that with a little more time, I'll adapt better, especially when it comes to the altitude. And here the training sessions are also very intense because it's not like in Brazil where you have games every 2 days. You have one game or a very long trip, so yes, you have time to work. I believe that with a little more time here, things will go more smoothly. Like I said to you, I believe in my work, but obviously to build your work, you need time. And here I am having this time to show what I can do, and thank God things are going well.
Yes, during this period you have scored many goals and contributed to this brilliant campaign as well. From Pumas in the clausura of the Mexican Championship, Pumas led this round robin phase, right? Now there's a knockout stage to win the clausura title, and I'd like you to talk a little bit about this knockout stage as well. You already faced Club America this weekend in the first leg, away from home, a team you've already played against during the round robin phase, right? It was a very tough game, 1-0 for you with a goal in stoppage time in the second half. How do you see these two games against America, which is a very traditional club, if not the most traditional in Mexico, right?
Yes, we know it's going to be a very tough game, especially the first match at their place. If I'm not mistaken, there should be about 80,000 people at the stadium for this game because whether you like it or not, it's a capital derby in this case. And it's also, like I told you, I came here to build a legacy, and I believe I'm doing that. I was, if I'm not mistaken. It had been almost more than 10 years since Pumas finished first in the championship, and we also got the highest points total in the tournament for Pumas. So it's like I told you at the beginning of our conversation. I came here to make history, and if God blesses me also to win a title, why not? But now I'm thinking about these two games we're going to have. I believe it won't be an easy game. It's like you said, whether we want it or not, America is a traditional team here in Mexico. It's also a very good team. They have a Brazilian player there, as everyone already knows. I think it will be a good game. It won't be easy, but it will be a good game.
And you here in Brazil played for a popular club which was Flamengo, and you saw Maracanã packed many times, right? And now you'll have the opportunity to play at Azteca Stadium, which will be a World Cup stadium, right? In the World Cup, which will have a part played in Mexico, and it's also the stadium of the club, maybe the most popular in the country, which is Club America. It's like the Flamengo of Mexico, right? How does it feel for you to have played for such a popular club and now to know that you're going to face another club just as popular, but this time on the opposite side, right? The most popular club will be the opponent, which will have a huge crowd, like you said, around 80,000 people are expected at the Azteca.
I believe so. Man, I'll be honest, people in Brazil don't really know what the games are like here, what the stadiums are like here. For example, Chivas, if I'm not mistaken, had like 65,000, 68,000, I don't know. Monterrey itself too, I believe they also get a lot of fans. And honestly, like Pumas itself, they get around 38, 40,000 every game. Sometimes it can even be more. Depending on the game, I think against Cruz Azul, if I'm not mistaken, there were about 50-something thousand people in the stadium. So whether you like it or not, it's a club with a lot of fans. It's an obvious example. Flamengo is something out of the ordinary, right? But in terms of fans as well, Pumas is a club that has a lot of supporters. Wherever we play, in most stadiums, our fans are always there and it's always packed. Sometimes there can even be more of our fans than the other team's supporters, and now there's also this derby against America, obviously, which is at their home. It will definitely be packed there since it's a knockout match, and I'm also sure that in the return game at our home, it will definitely be at full capacity too. I don't know our stadium's capacity, but I think it holds about 70,000 since it's very large. So yeah, I'm also at a club that has a lot of fans. Whenever we travel, when we arrive at the hotel, it's always full of people there too, obviously. In short, once again, I think there's nothing like Flamengo, not even in the world. I believe, I don't know, unless maybe Borussia, I don't know. I believe not even Borussia, but Flamengo's fans, I think it's Flamengo. I think it's the only one. They're in Brazil, just like all over the world. They follow us everywhere, but it's great to always play with a full house.
Perfect. And is there any teasing to Juninho, because you're going to face coach Andre Jardim on the other side, who's Brazilian, right? There's Rafael Veiga, who you faced in the Libertadores final and on other occasions here in Brazil too. Is there any kind of teasing between the Brazilians during the game?
No, actually not, man. Here, I think we Brazilians are very chill. It's rare. The Mexicans are the ones who are a bit more feisty, a little more cheeky, you know? But among us Brazilians here, we rarely clash with each other.
And Juninho, we're less than 50 days away from the World Cup, right? And you're in one of the host countries of the World Cup. I'd like to understand a bit of your perspective, you know? From someone who's there in Mexico, someone who lives in the country, have they been talking about the World Cup? Have you seen anything on the streets about the World Cup? Is there this sense of anticipation since the World Cup is coming up?
Man, I live in a city that, whether you like it or not, is a major tourist city. So, like, you see people from all over the world here, so they come to get to know the country. Yeah, Mexico City itself is a really, really great place for you to visit. But in terms of parties and that kind of thing, right now, not yet, you know? Personally, I don't see much in that regard.
And how do you see it? You mentioned the Mexican players, right? That they're a bit feisty, a bit cocky. How do you see Mexican soccer and Mexican players also thinking about the World Cup, right? Mexico is going to play the first phase of the World Cup at home. They have a match against South Africa, Czech Republic, and the other opponent slipped my mind now. You see Mexican soccer growing, players with a lot of quality. How do you see soccer in Mexico?
Man, I'll give you an example now. I saw a game of theirs against Portugal. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it even ended in a draw. And Portugal, for me, is one of the contenders because of the players they have there. And I believe they will. I think they're going to give a bit of trouble, obviously. For me, I don't think you can say they're going to be champions, given the teams in the tournament. But I do believe they're going to give their group a bit of trouble, yes.